Hi dears, welcome to my channel. Today we are discussing class 10, lesson number 7, how do organisms reproduce, part B. In our part A we have seen what is reproduction, what is asexual reproduction, what are the types of asexual reproduction and many more, right? In part B we are discussing longitudinal section of the flower, sexual reproduction, how is happening in the flowering plants, then male reproductive organ. In humans, we are discussing in detail about the male reproductive organ, female reproductive organ and how the reproduction is occurring, and then menstrual cycle in females and the reproductive health. We are going to discuss about the contraception methods. Okay, all these we are discussing in part B. Shall we start the class? Yes. What is the bisexual flower? Bisexual flower is the one which is having the male reproductive organ as well as the female reproductive organ within this flower. To say about hibiscus, it may be asked for you, what is this? Hibiscus, longitudinal section of the hibiscus. We can see the petals. Another name of petal is called corolla. Okay, they may ask throw and label corolla. You need not be worried about. Corolla is petal only. Then filament, you have seen, right? You know everything. From 6th standard itself you have learned. So no problem for you. Filament, anther. Anther contain what, ma? Anther contain pollen grains. And this belongs to the male reproductive part of the flower. Then the female reproductive part is what, ma? It includes stigma, style and ovary. Male reproductive part is called stamen, while the female reproductive part is called pistil, or we are saying it as carpel. Okay, ma? Then about the sepal. Sepal is the one which holds the flower. It is green in color and it is having another name, calyx. All these you have to know. It may be asked for you. The diagram may be asked for the question. Okay. Now about the flowering plants, you have seen bisexual and unisexual. Unisexual flower is the one which will be having either male gamete with it or the female gamete with it. Okay. While the bisexual flower is the one which is having both male as well as female gametes. Then we know what is pollination. What is pollination? Transfer of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma. Yes. Now we are going to see how the zygote is formed inside the flowering plants. See dears, as we know, because of the pollination, the pollen grains has been transferred from the anther to the stigma. The pollen grain contains what, ma? It contains male germ cells. Male germ cells are much more in the pollen grains. When it reaches the stigma, the male germ cell itself will be drawn inside towards the ovule where the female germ cells are present. Through the pollen grain, can you see this? Through this pollen tube, the male germ cells are taken inside and it will be transferred directly towards the ovule. Ovule is present inside the ovary and the ovule contains the egg. When the male germ cell fuses with the egg or the female reproductive cell, what will be happen? Zygote will be formed. From that, the embryo will be developed. So, the embryo has been developed now. What the others has to do? This embryo has to be taken protection. Who is protecting that? The ovule. The ovule will be converted into seed for protecting this embryo, while the ovary will be converted into fruit for protecting this seed. They are protecting the embryo to a large extent, right? Because why they are protecting this? Because the embryo is the one which will be future convert into plant. Because this embryo contains what, ma? Plumule. What is the meaning of this plumule? Plumule is the future shoot is present in this embryo, and radicle. Radicle is a future root present in this embryo. Okay, and this embryo is covered with what, ma? Cotyledons. You have learned in the smaller classes itself. What is the cotyledon doing? It is providing food for the developing embryo. When the favorable condition is coming, the germination occurs. What is that, ma? The embryo will be developed into plant seedlings. By the time The plumule will be developed into shoot while the radicle develops into root. And the cotyledon is the one which gives food for the developing embryo. Okay. So, to that extent, the flowers are giving protection or they are giving importance for the reproduction. So, we have to know one more thing, that is double fertilization. It's also one part included in your topic. What is this double fertilization? As we know, what is the fertilization? What is that? Male germ cells when fuses with the egg or female germ cell within the ovule. It is called what? Fertilization. If consider the case where two male germ cells are get inside through the pollen tube, what will happen? One male germ cell will fuses with the ovary, with the female germ cells to produce fertilization, and zygote will be produced. And the second male germ cell, what will it do? It will fuses with the two polar nuclei. It will fuses with the two polar nuclei to form endosperm. This is referred as triple fusion. These two types of fertilization together is occurring in the plant, so we are saying it as double fertilization. It is the important point you have to note in this part. Now we are moving to see how the reproduction is occurring in human. As we know, as a child grows, many things has been changing. He will become taller, his milk teeth will be gone and all. But when he reaches the 11 years, the changes will be much more different from the changes up to this extent. Okay, there will be many changes happening. To say, commonly for boys and girls, when they reaches 11 years, thick hair will be started growing in their pubic region. The faces will be mostly oily and pimples start coming. And moreover, to say, they will be much more cautious about their body. And to say, for girls, breast develops, and for them menstrual cycles start coming. And for boys, the penis get enlarged. To say, their hairs, much more hairs will be growing in their faces, and their voice will be cracked and the voice will be changed. These are the specialities, or these are the quick changes which can be seen for girls and boys. What they are becoming? They are becoming sexually mature. In the adolescent stage, the boys as well as girls will be sexually mature. We are saying it as puberty. Now we are going to learn in detail about the male reproductive organ as well as female reproductive organ and how reproduction is occurring in humans. Now we are going to discuss about the male reproductive system. The male reproductive system consists of reproductive organ. What is the main reproductive organ for the male? The reproductive organ is called testis, because the testis is the one which secretes sperm as well as it secretes a hormone called testosterone. What is the main function of the sperm? Sperm will fuses with the matured egg to form zygote, then results in embryo, then the development of the baby will be occurring. For the testosterone, what about the testosterone? It is the hormone which helps to show the secondary sexual characters in male. To say, thick hairs growing on the face, then change of the voice, then elongation of the shoulders. All these are the secondary sexual characters in the male, which is due to the presence of this secretion of this hormone testosterone. From the testis it is secreted. Okay. Now I am having a diagram here. Where is the testis present, Kanna? It is present in a brown bag. We are saying it as scrotum. The brown bag or scrotum is present outside the abdominal cavity. Why? It is a very important question, because low temperature is required for the secretion of sperms. The temperature should be lower than the body temperature. That's why the scrotum is present outside the body. From the scrotum, the testis will be seen, and this testis will be secreting this sperms. When the sperms till they are matured, it will be present in epididymis. It is the one which is present in the upper part of the testis, where the sperms are collected till they are maturing. It will be present over there. Then from there is a long tube. What is it called? It is called vas deferens. Through this, the matured sperms will be moving. It is moving. Where it is moving, ma? It is moving towards the urethra. The urethra is the part through which the sperms can be ejected out. The sperm will not be ejected directly through this urethra. While it is moving, there is a gland. What is it called? Prostate gland and seminal vesicle are present. They are the one which secretes milky white fluid for the easy mobility of the sperm, and it also provides nourishment to the sperms. So, through the urethra, this semen, the white fluid substance which contains sperm, is called what, ma? It is called semen. Semen will be ejected out. Up to this extent, the male reproductive system has been discussed, right? But there should be one important part. That is, through the urethra, two things are coming. Urine will be coming as well as semen will be coming. But both will not be coming at the same time. While semen is coming, the urine will be blocked. While the urine is coming, the semen will be blocked. Okay. Then we have to see about the female reproductive part. Is the one which you have been studying from the 8th standard itself, isn't it? How many ovaries are there for the female? 2 ovaries are there. Here one, here one. From the ovaries, once in a month, one egg is released from any of these ovaries. Both the ovaries will not release the egg at the same time. Only one ovary will release an egg. And this egg will be directly moving to the fallopian tube. This fallopian tube is also called what, ma? It is also called oviduct. Okay. In this oviduct, the egg will be released. And this egg will be matured. Okay. Then there is a part, there is an elastic muscular part in the body of female. We are saying it as what, ma? It is called uterus. Okay. It is the one which the developing embryo will be placed in this uterus, and then there is a small opening. What we are saying it is called cervix. Cervix is there. Then below it, vagina is the opening. So this is up about the female reproductive system. Now we should know what is reproduction and how the zygote and embryo is formed in the reproduction. Okay. When both the individual are in physical touch with each other, their body will be attached. By the time the semen will be flown into the vagina of the female. Okay, the semen contains what, ma? Millions of sperms will be present in the semen, and it will be flown directly to the vagina. The sexual contact is called what? We are saying it as mating, or we can say another name, that is sexual intercourse. Okay, these are the terms which are used for that. Okay, by this time the semen will be directly flowing towards the vagina. There is a cervix. As I told you, there is a small opening. Through this cervix, the sperms will be mobile and they will go inside towards the uterus. From the uterus, the sperm has to travel where, ma? They have to travel to the fallopian tube where the matured egg is present. When the sperm is attached with the matured egg, they will fuse together and fertilization will occur, and the zygote will be formed, and the zygote will be developed into an embryo. Okay. When the zygote start developing in the embryo, the cells will be divided, isn't it? The single cell, actually during fertilization, the matured egg and the matured sperm will fuse, and two cell will become one, and two nucleus will become one. It will become one cell and one nucleus. Okay, we are saying this stage as zygote, and the zygote will be further start dividing inside in what? Fallopian tube itself, and when it becomes larger and larger from the fallopian tube, it will move and it will be settled in the uterus. We have to note one thing, that is endometrium. The inner lining of the uterus is called what, ma? Endometrium, and it will act as a bed for the developing embryo, and it will provide blood circulation blood vessels will be all in this endometrium for providing nourishment. By the time placenta is the organ which will be developed inside the uterus. For what purpose? Placenta is the one which helps for safeguarding this embryo, for this developing embryo, and it is the one which gives nourishment, to say oxygen as well as nutrients to the developing embryo. How? Through a tube called umbilical tube, or we can say umbilical cord, through which the placenta will be connecting the mother's body as well as the child's or fetus body. By this way, from the mother, the fetus developing embryo is getting the nutrients as well as oxygen, and it will be developed. And we are saying as fetus. The period through which the development of embryo is happening is called what? It is called the gestation period. And when it becomes 9 months, what happens? When the full growth has been occurred, through the cervix and through this vagina, the fetus will be coming out. So we are saying it as infant. Infant, isn't it, ma? The child will be coming out, or the baby will be coming out through this. So this is what, ma? This is the normal delivery. Normal delivery, and by this time the child will be coming out through the vaginal opening. Okay. So one question will be arising: what will happen if the egg is not fertilized? It's a question, right? All the time the sperm will not be attached to the egg, and the fertilization will not occur. By the time, what will happen? As I told you, in the fallopian tube, the matured egg will be waiting for the sperm to be attached. But all the time it will not be happening. But what the thing is, the uterus will make itself ready for the acception of the embryo. Because the inner wall of the uterus will be thickened, and the blood vessels will be much more over there for receiving what, no? For receiving this embryo. But all the time it is not happening. So after a certain period, this blood and this blood vessel will be oozing out from the female body through this vaginal opening. We are saying it as menses. It is happening. It will be happening for the girls who are sexually matured. Okay. The first time of the menstrual cycle which is happening for the girls, we are saying it as menarche, and it will not last for 45 to 50 years. This menstrual cycle flow will be there. After that, it will be arrested because the hormonal secretion will be stopped and the egg maturation will be stopped and all. So the menstrual cycle will be stopped. So we are saying it as menopause. Okay. Menarche and menopause are the important terms you have to understand. Now we are saying about the reproductive health. What is this reproductive health? It is a state of physical, mental and social well-being in all aspects of reproduction. Actually, there are many diseases which are transmitted while the person is in sexual intercourse with the infected person. That is called sexually transmitted disease. Okay? When the person is in sexual intercourse with another person who is a patient, the many diseases will be transmitted. To say, through bacterial diseases are gonorrhea, syphilis, all these are transmitted, and viral diseases like HIV, warts, all these are transmitted from an infected person to the healthy person when he is in sexual intercourse. Okay, so what are the ways for preventing it? And what are the ways for preventing the unwanted pregnancy? It is called contraception method. What is it called? Contraception method is the one which helps for the preventing of the sexually transmitted disease, as well as it helps for preventing the unwanted pregnancy. Okay, what are the methods for that? There are many methods: physical barriers, then chemical methods, surgical methods, and many other methods. We are discussing one by one. First, physical barrier. That is, how they are doing is they are blocking the entry of the sperm into the female genital part, so that the maturation, the fertilization of egg will not be happening. Okay, so what are the things for that? Condom, usage of condom, cervix cap, diaphragm, all these are the methods for that. And then second is chemical method. That is, taking of pills, okay, which can imbalance the hormone or which can alter the function of the hormone, so that what, the egg will not be matured. The female have to intake the pills so that the maturation of egg will not happen. So what happens? So when the egg is not matured, the fertilization and the zygote production will not be happening. So it is a chemical method, but by usage of this method, the hormonal imbalance will be caused. So it will be a little difficult for the females. Then the third one is IUCD. What is IUCD? Intrauterine contraceptive device. It is intrauterine contraceptive device. What is that? It is a device which is kept inside the uterus of females. It is something like copper T. So that what happens is the sperm will not be able to get enter into the fallopian tube where the fertilization will not happen, because as the sperm is not able to get entry into it. Okay. Then the fourth and the most effective method is surgical method. There are two ways surgical method can be done. First is vasectomy and the second is tubectomy. What are these two Tommies doing here? See, vasectomy. That means vas difference is there, no? For the male's reproductive system, the vas difference is there. That part is cut. That vas difference is a tube-like structure. A part of this vas difference is cut and clipped, so that the sperms will not be able to come out. So this is an effective method. And for in the case of females, tubectomy means fallopian tube. Both the fallopian tubes, they cut a part of this fallopian tube and they are clipping it. So what? So the matured egg will not be able to generate in the fallopian tube. Okay. So this method is very effective, and the reversibility of this method is very less. After sometimes if you want to do it back, it will be very difficult to do. So this is the most effective surgical method. Okay. Up to this extent, the lesson is there and we have completed the lesson, and this is now it's the question time. Are you ready, dears? First question. As part A has been discussed earlier, the question will be belongs to part A as well as part B. Okay. Are you ready? Okay. First question. In Spirogyra, asexual reproduction takes place by dash. In Spirogyra, asexual reproduction takes place by dash. Second one. In Rhizopus, tubular thread-like structure bearing sporangia at the tips are called dash. The tubular structure or tubular thread is called dash is the question. Okay. Okay. Which disease is not sexually transmitted? They are giving you options. The third question is, which disease is not sexually transmitted? The options are syphilis, hepatitis, HIV, gonorrhea. Okay.